Come on in the room, guys. We have another great show for y'all this evening. This evening. And no, I do not own the rights to any of the music that you may be here playing in the background. But again, welcome. Welcome to Rumors Has It with Sha Shaw. I am super duper excited to introduce my next guest. We are a little early, but nevertheless, it's okay. We are going to let the people know on Instagram that we are ready. So we got all platforms live.
Don't get no better than that. Yeah.
All right, y'all come on in this room. Today is a great day to be informed. Learn something that you didn't know.
For sure.
We're talking about some rumors and how we're going to debunk misconceptions. You know, any type of misconceptions that need to be debunked, this is the place to get it done. But this is our first show. I'm super excited. I had a phenomenal guest on early this morning. And so we're going to cap it off again with another great guest, Mr. Art Carter, who I met, oh my God, probably 9 months ago?
Yeah.
Closer to the first part of the year.
Yeah.
Will you be my content bestie?
Yes. Yeah.
That's where we met.
Yeah, absolutely.
Both trying to expound on our social media skills, which voila.
Yeah.
Hey, this is how we arrived. I know, looking at my screen and looking at the recording for this morning, I know Latoya, I know Lady, I did not use, and this is not yours, I did not use my little wipey. So, you know, the first video was very grainy. Oh my goodness. And I cringed. So I got it now. It's not going to leave this table. But that's where we met in. So kudos. Okay. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what do you do here in Gray County?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
It's always a pleasure when people feel that you are worthy enough to come sit down with and have a conversation. So for that, I'm thankful that you thought of me to sit down and have a conversation. But as Shai mentioned, I'm Art Carter. You know, I'm a citizen here in Longview. I've been in Longview probably about 3 years. Originally born in Shreveport, Louisiana, raised in Texas.
Wow, okay. That's something I didn't know.
Yeah, I was about 10 years old when we moved to Dallas and was raised in Dallas. So I was raised in the west side of Dallas, which, you know, those of you that may know the west side of Dallas was a pretty rough part of town. So so I got my school of hard knocks very early.
Okay.
Which I contributed a lot of that to shaping who I am. So lived in Dallas till I was about 27. Then I started to kind of move around and travel with a healthcare company that I got hired on with, which was a contractor to Christus Health. Okay. And of course, you know, there's Christus Health pretty much all over the state. And I got a chance to visit a lot of the cities and got a chance to be in Corpus Christi, San Antonio, been through Memphis, been up to Kentucky. And eventually after I left Kentucky, how I got to Longview is that my father was really ill. Okay. And he wound up passing away while I was actually on an assignment in Kentucky. Oh, wow. And I felt like it was really important, you know, as the next man in my family to be close to my family, to get back home, which was in Texas. So I was striving to get a job with the company I worked for. I interviewed in Texarkana. Texarkana didn't work out, so I got a little discouraged, but I went back to Kentucky and, of course, came and saw my dad for a couple of weeks and then went back. And after going back, he passed away, and I was fortunate enough to get a call from Christian's Good Shepherd here in Longview. I was fortunate to get a call from there and interview with them, and everything went well, and they actually chose me as the person that they wanted to move forward with. So that's kind of my journey of where I've been and where I am now and how I got to Longview. Didn't know much about Longview, you know. Yeah, didn't know much. You know, definitely a lot slower pace than what I was used to, but, you know, after 2 or 3 years of being here, it's been just what I need on so many different levels. So that's a little bit about my journey to Longview. Okay. It's kind of how I got here. So.
Well, I'm elated that you're here, and I think that the information that you shared with us at Will You Be My Content Bestie definitely hit my radar because we share some of the same interests as far as giving back to the community, having a passion of really just serving others, knowing that we have a servitude heart That's where we actually aligned it. And I think, again, as you shared that day, me and Chris was like, wow, we got an upstanding African American man that is out here and able to represent our community in this view. So that was amazing for us, because that's what we've been looking for and trying to connect with and help expound on our mission in reference to getting the man back at the head of the house.
Understood.
Just coming into contact. So if we do run into other men that need whatever it may be, whether if it's mentorship or just a guy to hang out with, to talk to, at least we can say, well, I might know him, or I might know somebody you can talk to, or there may be someone that can help you with that specific issue. That right there was the key that unlocked where we are right now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I feel. And I think that based on that, God is going to take us to another level in the joint venture of what it is that we are passionate about and taking it to the community. So again, I appreciate you for just knowing who you are.
Yeah.
Not everybody know who they are, or not everybody, like you said, are really ready, as we had a pre-conversation, ready to step up into it, or know that you already have arrived to your calling.
Right.
You just needed maybe Sean to help bring it out.
Right. Just somebody poke the berry. Poke that old berry.
Rumor has it, right? With Sean. That's what we doing. We debunking some rumors.
This is what we doing.
Yes, and we are getting to know our people, our community leaders. Guys, Art has a wonderful program. But before we get off into that, I need you guys to like, share, follow, right? I need you guys to get some other people in the room. Let them know about this phenomenal podcast that we're putting on tonight. Because again, our vision is to share information and to get you guys to know who we are and what it is that we do. So with that being said, again, tell us about StellaKidd.
So StellaKidd is an employment service company.
Okay.
And what that means in a smaller context means that we actually help individuals with job placement, career goals. We help them with things like finding their path, which again, me being someone that found my way through, some supports, I felt it was kind of profound that I would get into something like that. But what we do, our primary mission is that our base of customers are individuals that have what's called a qualified disability. Disabilities, things like autism, things like ADHD, PTSD, bipolar, anxiety, depression. It could be paraplegic. It could be loss of hearing, low vision, legally blindness. I mean, all these things are barriers that people have. And what we do is that we help to become an advocate for them and finding their way in a career aspect as far as finding work.
That is amazing.
Because they already have pretty much challenges and oftentimes they don't have an outlet to where to go. So StellaKidd is just an entity that they can come to and we can provide direction for them and insight and things like that. So, but that's who we are. We are what's considered an employment service company, but we service people with disabilities.
Is there an age range in that?
The age range that I personally deal with, it starts at 17.
Okay.
The program that I work for with the state of Texas actually does have individuals that are 16, but at least 17. I've had a few 16-year-olds, but 17 to 22 is the kind of school and post-secondary age. Gotcha. Now, we also service individuals that are over 22.
Okay.
There are individuals that come to us that's 35, 37, 64, 65. So age is not a barrier, however, but most of my population I service in the program are individuals that are in school, getting ready to do post-secondary work, and just kind of trying to find their way, such as us when we were in high school.
I like the fact that you guys are able to service individuals that don't just have physical disabilities, because sometimes people can blur the lines in thinking that a disability means a quadriplegic client or disability or something like that. But guys, how many of us know about the silent disabilities, the ADHD, the PTSD, different things of that nature? Like you said, the bipolar disorder. Those are definitely disabilities and could actually prevent someone from getting a job. So again, this is what this is about, guys. And that would definitely be one rumor to debunk, of saying that a mental disability is definitely not the same as a physical.
Sure.
So you don't want to even be able to try to compare apples to apples in that scenario, because neither one is no greater than the other. One is still all of them are. And so people may tend to overlook those that have the silent disabilities.
I agree. Oftentimes they don't want to be honest with themselves, or their family don't want to be honest with everyone else. It's silent because they keep it a secret, right? There's I find that when they finally come out and they work with us, it's been like this well-kept secret that they kept for so long, and when they finally found someone that they said, I can help you, and it's like they believe that, and you show them, they become a new person.
That's heavy.
They become a new person because for all their life they've been told something is wrong and just keep quiet, don't tell nobody. We don't want to be embarrassed, especially our African American kids.
Absolutely. Even as parents may not even want to acknowledge it or tap into it or just admit that something may be wrong with my child, and I might need to get him some help. You know.
I mean, when you find things, I can give you a perfect example since we're on silent disabilities.
Yes, absolutely.
Oftentimes we find our kids are behind in a speech category.
Okay.
Right?
Dyslexia or something like that, right?
Right.
Is that speech or no? That's
more. It's more critical. It's more in the mental because it kind of takes the words and you see it, but your brain twists it.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah, that's more of a mental. Dyslexia, more of a mental. So when we talk about speech, we talk about things like, for instance, if you ever heard a child kind of speak and it sounds like they're speaking because they sound like they're underwater. That's
like a tongue tied.
Like their tongue, like a tongue tied.
Okay.
That's usually an indication that leads to some things that we have found that leads to things that either hearing loss. Hearing loss is the big one that's tied to that. And the reason it's tied to that because what they hear, everything they hear, it sounds like they're underwater. Wow. When you talk to them, it sounds like they're underwater. So when they talk, they're talking from how they hear you, right? So that's why they're not speaking. So these are early signs of a detection that there could be something wrong with your child that we often overlook. Oh, you're just a kid. Dyslexia. That's kids are actually reading and they're reading words and they see fear, but they say something different, or they'll see a word and clearly they see it, but they say it different. That's a good indication that there may be some critical things going on with their mental. Other things like even like abilities to move and to walk and to reach and to bend and grab, all those things that are delayed or could be cognitive things that are actually going on in the brain. That falls into a category of autism. And autism is so widespread. It ain't just all the people that are just really weird. I mean, it's people that are normal looking that has a very high degree of autism. Oftentimes people don't find out they have autism till later in life, unless their parents are really seeking for an answer, and then they find out when they're young. But I mean, I've seen people as old as 35, 40 years old find out they got autism. They're like, what? They always knew something was different, but they never knew what it was because I think it's because of the fear, so.
And not wanting to tap in.
Right.
And acknowledge.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of the ones that have success in the programs that are available, because the program we're talking about is the vocational rehabilitation.
Okay.
That's a state-funded agency. Federal government gives this agency X amount of millions of dollars a year. And what the agency does, the agency is responsible for providing services to those individuals that may have these debilitating or barrier conditions. So the Texas Workforce Solutions is that entity that's responsible for dispersing those funds to the individuals that need the help.
Gotcha.
But they don't advertise. You have to kind of know somebody that knows something.
Is that your DARS program almost, sort of, kind of?
DARS, yeah. It used to be DARS.
Oh, okay.
It used to be DARS. So DARS is kind of formed into vocational rehabilitation.
Really?
Right, yeah. Okay. So it's kind of encompassed in a bigger hub now with more services, because they kind of grouped everything where it's one division versus separate entities.
We're going to pin that because that's good information, guys. So if you're not familiar with this, and because I've always been kind of community oriented, right? Just always willing to share information about different services and things that are in the community and the city that I've always lived in, whether if it's Dallas or the country here, whatever. Just staying in the know. This is really, really good information, guys, to even know that there may have been a change. You may have had a child, or you may have had a sister, brother, or somebody that went through the DARS program, but to know now it's called vocational rehab, strictly through TWC, then that may answer one of your questions if you have a need, or if you have a family member, a friend, or whomever Now you got information where you can go, what you need to do, how to follow up, and you don't have to know somebody to get this information.
Right. Yeah,
So
it's well known once you know, and it's really simple to get involved. I mean, if you are probably an SSI recipient or an SSDI recipient, pretty much you in.
Good.
Right? So if you have SSI, SSDI, you pretty much are in.
Okay.
Because they figure once you start to get supplemental income from that services that you have a debilitating condition that's already been noted to where they consider you disabled. And once you're considered that, then you automatically qualify for the program. It's just reaching out to them and letting them know what kind of services that you need. They also help with schooling. What people don't know, a lot of times VR helps pay for colleges. College courses, they help buy materials such as laptops and tablets and things that are needed for school.
And that's for those that are just participants, disabled, or just anyone that's on this vocational?
Yeah, once you're in the VR program, when you actually become a customer of them, or what we call clients, once you're registered and you're in that hub, you are open to having all of those services at no additional charge. You just kind of benefit from everything that's in that hub as you may need it. But schooling and education and resources, nursing school, CNA schools, phlebotomy schools. I mean, all these are really profound careers that you can go through this program having a dyslexia, having a hard of hearing, or having autism, or having PTSD. You can go through this program and still get certifications to better your life, to put you in a position where you don't have to depend on SSI, SSDI, because most people think that, because I make a certain amount of money on my SSI, I can't make any more money, and that's untrue.
That's a good one to talk about, definitely. We might have to come back for another show on that one, seriously, because a lot of people don't know, and that comes from a tax preparation stance. A lot of people, I get calls or get phone calls or people asking questions, well, I didn't think I could make over a certain amount. Yes, you actually can work. You can make some income. So if you are that entrepreneur, and you feel like you can't, you're not able to go back to the 9 to 5 or whatever that looks like you said, you can invest in yourself. If it's phlebotomy, if it's anything of a trade.
Yeah. CNA, CNA is a popular one. Phlebotomy is a big one.
Okay.
I've seen them even help people get driver's license.
See, that's good.
That's also sometimes a barrier for people that they don't have transportation. So they help you get driver's license, to where you can be able to drive.
Well, I just learned something new today. Yeah. I just learned a few things new today. Sure. So this is really good. Okay. So reflecting on your personal life. Okay. Was there something, a pivotal moment, even in your personal life, that made you passionate about starting StellaKidd and serving on the disabled side?
If I can be honest, I was probably a little rough kid growing up. I didn't have much passion for people. I was actually the total opposite of who I am now. I was a bit of a bully, not
really?
Not like one of those terrible bullies, but
let's get some understanding.
So I wasn't the one that was always going out starting stuff, but I would be very defensive in who I was and what I'd done. I just didn't tolerate certain things.
Got it.
And I was always of a bigger size and stature than most kids I was around. So I would try to push my way around. But that was me trying to find myself, honestly, I think. So the whole disabled thing, as far as getting work relates to caring for people. I worked in nursing homes before I worked in hospitals. So I think that was my turning point, is working in the medical industry. Because I actually had to have a heart, right? I started to have a heart for the conditions and the people, and I'm serving these people, and it just kind of slowly, things in you start to change. When you
identify it.
Right, you start to identify that something in me identifies with this, what I'm doing, and I never thought I would really be doing this, but I like to see people happy. I like to see people say, hey, I thank you for sitting down talking with me, because I have nobody to talk to. And all these little things click in your head, and after a while you realize, man, this is something I never thought I was really, good at, was just serving people or loving people.
Right.
And my sister introduced me to the whole VR thing, just kind of like on a whim. And she was like, hey, have you heard about this thing called the VR? And she was doing it, kind of playing with it part-time. And I took it and saw an opportunity to really do business.
Got it.
But starting, I feel like my love was for people. Was always, it was rooted. My dad actually was a mechanic.
Okay.
My dad was a neighborhood mechanic.
So he's still serving?
Right. So I saw it before I saw it.
Got
if
it.
that makes sense.
Absolutely.
My mother was a nurse.
Okay.
Right. So mama was a nurse, and dad was a neighborhood mechanic. So I saw service and caring and where it relates to serving people. I saw it as a kid growing up, but I didn't see it as I see it now.
Okay.
Right? So I've always been around it, so that's just how God works, right? Like we don't see it then, but it's like, oh, now I see.
Tap, tap.
So yeah. So it's always around. So I feel like that's kind of how I got into serving people first, and then of course serving people with disabilities was a whole nother level of love that I didn't even know that I was gonna fall in love doing.
You kind of answered my second question, my third question, which was going to be, how's your business journey intersected with the personal growth? You really almost just kind of answered that to a certain extent. Like you said, tapping into working in the nursing home and letting that identify that servant part that you have.
It did. I believe between me serving people in a work capacity and then ultimately about 27, 28, 29 years old, kind of getting to know this God thing and doing this search for who I am and purpose. I think between those two things, that's where everything kind of happened. The magic kind of happened way back when, and it just took years for me to develop it and know that it was there. But learning about the service that God gave us Jesus to show us an example, but also me working at people, seeing people take their last breath, or seeing people come in, shot riddled with bullets, and of course they make it, and now they're thankful that they have life. All those different stories, I feel like made me who I am to be able to operate StellaKidd effectively. Because I already had the tools. Yeah. I already had the tools. I just didn't have a place to use my tools, with. So
now that's a word.
The opportunity came for me to use those tools. But I was equipped. I feel like I was equipped from, a young boy.
That's a word. The tools.
Yeah.
Right? Because not all the time do we know how to utilize the tools that God has given us until we're coming to that certain point in time in life, or it's something. I can only speak for myself. Some of my tools were identified through my own tragedy of going through my mental health woes. You understand what I'm saying? So that helped me tap into those tools.
Yes. Yeah.
And not be afraid to utilize those tools. But when I was under the tutelage of my mother and father in Christ, the things that they were trying to prep me for then, I wasn't seeing it. And he always would tell me, you utilize that anger, you utilize that for something else. You turn that pain into power. Just utilize the energy for something else greater, because you have so much more within you.
100% agree.
Than that.
100%.
So,
because I remember as a kid, I remember that I had a real strong way of persuading people.
Yeah.
Right. And
was that the bully side almost?
Yeah. It was like not only was I a little tough, but I had a way that people were listening. I remember several conversations. People, as I got older, and I realized I had this gift of conversation that a lady told me. She said, I don't even listen to people like preachers and stuff on TV, but she was like, I'll listen to you. And things just sparked, and I was like, that's weird. Like, I don't think that I'm anything other than who I am, but she was identifying tools
Let's talk about it.
that I had to ultimately develop and would one day get a chance to use those. I served a ministry in Corpus Christi, Texas for 4 years as an associate pastor.
Next question.
Yeah.
No, I'm being serious, because I was going to ask, when were you introduced? And okay, so two things. This is two-part.
Okay.
In our earlier warm-up conversation, and then you just mentioned it just a minute ago.
Okay.
You said God thing. So I want to expound on that. When you say it like that, where does that come from? So you can answer that in one instance, but then the second question was going to be, when were you first introduced to Christ? Were you raised in the church? Did you have mother and father, grandparents that were ministers or ushers? You got to go every Wednesday, Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Two questions. Two questions.
So God thing, and when was I introduced?
Yes.
Okay, so the God thing has always been something my mother kept us in church.
Okay.
Let's just start with that. My mom was definitely an avid churchgoer.
Good,
so she kept us in church. We never wanted to be there. We didn't want to go on Wednesdays and Sundays, right? Day. So I actually lived that life, for a very long time. All through my teenage years. So for me, the God thing is what I consider the introduction of the things of God, right? So God thing is the things of God. I don't know him. I don't have him as my own yet, but I know of things of him. So that's what I call the God thing. It's little things around that God does. You
better help us tonight, Mr. Porter.
So it's a God thing, right? It's
love
a thing.
that.
It's a thing that you you get these premonitions and you're like, you see things, you feel things, you understand things different, and God is constantly putting people in your life to keep you on that. So that's the God thing, right? Just for those that are listening.
I love that.
That's the God thing. So I was introduced when I was actually 30, I want to say I was about 36 years old.
Okay.
I moved to Corpus Christi, and I was actually working in the healthcare field. And I met a guy down there named Ahmad Haywood. And I don't know, Ahmad, he may be checking in. But I met him, and he got to introduce me just to a different understanding about the God thing. He helped me define what the God thing was. Started to give me scripture, started to give me examples of what it was I was understanding. And it all made sense. It all made sense. And he invited me to his church one day. And I think that was on a Sunday. He invited me to his church, and he was giving some word. He was breaking the thing down. And he was making it so relevant. It wasn't preachy. It was really relevant. It was like I felt like I was talking to myself or the person I would be talking to. And I'm like, man, how is this guy making sense in this aspect of,
come on,
I ain't never heard the Bible like this. So it intrigued me, because I've always been a person that it don't take much to intrigue me, but when you really get my attention, you get my attention.
You got my attention.
So he kept me around. That Sunday, I went that Sunday, and probably for the next year or two, I stayed around this fire. I stayed around that fire that he had kind of sparked in me. And one day he came to me, and I have been feeling this unction to, like, I need to do something. I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something for God, right? And he came to me one Sunday, and he was like, Brother Carter, come up here to the front, And I came up there, and he was talking to me, and I had already had a few conversations with him about my purpose, and he heard through my speech, he could hear my spirit and all that.
Oh, come on now.
So he brought a certification out. He said, I want to present something to you. And he gave me an ordination as the associate pastor of that church, which I stayed in that church for 4 years until we actually closed the doors. But he presented me with that ordination, which confirmed all the things I had been feeling and growing up, and the God thing had always been around, and he made it make sense for me. That's one thing I'm thankful for to this day, is that he made it make sense for me. He taught me how to look at scripture and read the scripture and understand the scripture on a simple level.
Yeah.
He kept it very simple. He did not make it complex.
Field to make, not to be above you or make you feel.
And he made me feel like, leading as a pastor of sort wasn't just this thing where you had to be upright. You be a person.
I'm human.
Right? You're human. Like you've been through some things. You've been in the projects. You've sold drugs. You stole cars. Right? All these things that you've done. Like, that's a part of a story that someone you're gonna meet that you're gonna be able to give that story to. And he the first one to teach me that your story is never for you, it's for someone else. So everything that you go through, it's never for you, it's always for someone else.
You're right.
He was the first person to teach me that. And I was like, man, so all of this that I went through, that I'm thinking I'm having some kind of crisis, it's
the God things.
The God things, right? When I'm going through these God things, right? All these God things happening, right?
Yes.
I find myself telling the story of those God things to people that specifically needed that story.
And I appreciate you last week for doing that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I just try to be.
Oh my goodness! I learned something else new today, y'all, about Mr. Carter. Honey, he is a whole ordained minister.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't. Again, I follow a principle. In the scripture, Jesus said that I make no name for myself. So I follow that principle. I make no name for myself for who I am. But most people, if you listen to me long enough, they pick up on the God thing. They're like, something.
You just just didn't know, or waiting for the opportunity now, or just even maybe it had been another committee meeting for us or something, for that to just us to have a conversation and draw that out. But this is really, really good to know. And so it does speak to, again, what I felt when I did first meet you in reference to that God thing.
That
God
thing,
man, listen, that's game changer.
T-shirts coming soon.
You heard me? Listen, I told y'all earlier about merch, okay? So I'm the merch queen. I need the hats, I need the T-shirts, I need keychains, whatever you want to bring on over here to the Inspire Media Content Studio. Yes, rumor has it, we got it. We're going to put a pin in it right quick. Y'all, please share this amazing live. We are sitting here with the proud founder of StellaKidd. His name is Art Carter. He is a Louisiana native, but he has landed here in the heart of East Texas, Longview, Texas. Okay,
Right.
he has some amazing things, has an amazing story, and so I am just honored. I mean, I am really taken away for the things that you have shared thus far. So we are only 30 minutes in so far. Y'all, please tap that screen. Send me some hearts. Send me some stars. Not ready for y'all to subscribe to the channel just yet. We just now getting this thing going. But hey, get on in the room. You hear me? Come on in. Y'all don't want to miss this. We have a few more moments that we're gonna share this time with Art, and I know that he's gonna pour some more. So again, thank you. Oh my goodness, thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm serious. This is very enlightening. Definitely with the whole StellaKidd, just really breaking down the vocational rehab. Yeah. Okay, what's your guy's name in Corpus Christi?
Ahmad Haywood.
Shout out Ahmad Haywood. Okay. You did your big one. Okay. Yeah. Shout out to you for helping Art tap into his true gift. Not saying that he doesn't have any other gifts, but we don't know what God has in for you just coming on down the line. But he'll share a little bit of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're here for. Other than that, okay, so a pivotal moment in your business journey that significantly shaped your current path, and how did you overcome that challenge?
I often don't tell this story, but I feel like it's far beyond the time has passed. Okay, so my love was always healthcare. I was serving people, but I noticed I came here in 2022. Okay. The middle part of 2022, and in 2023, I started to feel like I wanted to do more of what I'm doing now. Gotcha. I felt that the corporate America was really just too restrictive on me. I couldn't really be who I was because, as you can tell, I'm multifaceted. Right. And I felt like I could never be me, and I felt like there was always more to me than just following the books, right? You know, I understood vice presidents, and CEOs, but I always felt like I'm that guy too. So long story short, we had an incident with one of my employees, and at the end of the day, the story was, it was written like, I did everything I was supposed to do in regards to documentation and discipline and all that. So at the end of the investigation, between this subordinate of mine, he was actually my assistant director. Okay. They wound up deciding that they was going to terminate him and me too. So now we're in a position where I'm in a city. I don't know anyone. I've just bought a house. I've just put my name on papers for a house. I have 3 or 4 cars that's my name that I've carried along the way. My wife has a couple vehicles. You know, my wife has a little job at this time, but I was mainly the individual that was kind of not, I don't like to say breadwinner. I just felt like, you know, God has put me in a position to be a blessing to my family. So he allowed me to have a little bit more, which is what I give to my family, and make sure that my wife can have what she needs to have. So here it is, August the 1st of 2023. I'm sitting at my kitchen table and realize I just got off work. I went to work at 8 o'clock this morning. I went to work at 6 o'clock this morning. At 4 o'clock the afternoon, I'm no longer employed. I don't have no check that's on the way in the mail. None of that. But and I'm in a city of Longview. I don't know anyone at this point other than people I work with. I'm looking at all the amount of expenses that I had, and I had this one thing, this little VR contract that I was working on. And I wasn't quite official with my contract yet, but I was working on the details. And after that happened, I just made a pivotal decision at that moment. I pivoted and said, you know what, in spite of everything that I see, I'm going to trust God, because I felt like this little thing that I had with this vocational thing, working with, you know, disabled kids, I just felt like that was my next thing to really pivot me into my employment journey, you know, my business journey. And lo and behold, you know, that first month, August came, September, I received a check from my mortgage company that said that I had an overpayment.
Well, look at God.
Right? So the very next month, when mortgage was due, God provided a check that I didn't know was coming to make sure the mortgage was taken care of. That was in September. October, everything was still the same way. I was doing enough work at the service where I could maintain my bills. I started to get more customers, so now I'm making income, and I'm slowly getting there. December, my contract went active of that year, December 2023. So basically, January 2024, now I'm official. I have the contract. I can fully open the doors and fully operate. And from that point, God has sustained me ever since through this business of serving people, serving His people, and doing what I call doing the work to the least of them among us.
Let me ask you this: if you had not have lost that job, would you have probably went full force
The plan
with the VR, or would you have kind of procrastinated a little bit?
It's funny that you asked that. It's funny that you asked that because I had started to plan my exit, right? So subconsciously, spiritually, I had checked out.
Okay.
Right? I was no longer attached to that mission of working at the medical facility no longer served me.
Got it.
So I had detached from that spiritually and mentally. And I started to really consider what would life be like as me running my own business. Because I always knew I wanted to run my own business and have my own company. I just didn't know what it was going to be.
Wow.
So I was slowly and silently checking out, and I feel like God forced me into a position where it was more sooner than later, because everything in the situation was in my favor, to where I shouldn't have got hit by any means of that chaos.
Right.
But nevertheless,
but He gave you the desires of your heart.
I took my lumps, and I stayed with it. And I'm not gonna lie, to those that are listening, I mean, it wasn't easy. When you got about $600-$700 worth of expenses and you have no money coming in at all.
Let's talk about it.
Let's just be real. Like, trusting God is a thing, right? But $600-$700 worth of expenses is also a thing. So it really takes some muscle and some grit.
It's always easier said than done.
I could tell you, we'll save that for another episode.
Okay,
but that thing of having and not having and being in a real place where you've developed all this, you've created a lifestyle where you have a certain lifestyle and income goes away, that's a very fearful place, regardless of who you are and where you are in Christ. It's a fearful thing. Not saying that you're so afraid that it overtakes you, but you can't deny the fear of it and the feeling of fear. It's just you have to decipher that fear is false evidence appearing as real.
Yes, because that's a total leap of faith.
Yeah.
We talking about just after C-19, 2022, the world ain't already woke up just yet either. Yeah. So to lose my job in the midst of that, I would really probably think, what are we doing, God? What are you trying to do to me? What are we going? But that was your push.
It was
that was the push you needed.
And most people are afraid of that. They ask God to give me, ask God to show me.
Yeah.
And then when He pushes you off the cliff, we cry, we panic, and we kick and scream.
Yeah.
But we ask for it. We have been asking for it. God showed me, and okay, He put some people in front of you and put some cameras in front of you, and you run a podcast. You've been asking for something to do, and now He, right? So just know that the push is supposed to be just as it is. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. It's supposed to be, you don't need to know. You don't have all the details. Because I always feel like if you knew all the details and you knew everything, you probably wouldn't do it.
I'm not going to say too much, but I just got to say that puts me, us talking about this puts me in the mindset of the current administration.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
You're going to have to just stand on the word.
Yeah.
You're going to really have to stand on what you know in here.
Yeah.
Not this.
Yeah.
Because this was failing us.
Yeah. Because we've gotten comfortable seeing things.
I was talking to a young lady earlier today, and I told her that for years, we went to church. And they said, if you do this, that's gonna happen. If you do this, but nothing never happened. Right. And I think that's where this younger generation is, that nothing never happened.
Right.
So they don't believe and they don't trust because nothing never happened. Right. Okay.
Right.
C-19 dropped down. Boom.
Right.
The doors of the church was closed.
Yeah.
What do you give them? You didn't give them anything.
Yeah.
Everything went out the window for them. So nothing ever happens.
Right.
So we lost that battle, and it's going to be hard to go back and try to reach them in that essence. But at this point, we gotta just take. We just gotta take this little old licking and cry out to the Most High, because it's His return that we should be wanting.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be true, you shouldn't have any fear of this carnalness, right? So I don't know. I just have a different outlook on it, and I'm ready. I don't know about nobody else. I'm just saying, am I perfect? No.
Yeah.
Do I strive for perfection daily? Yes, but
Right.
in my heart,
Right.
this is not my home.
Right.
I have no curls in this world at all.
Right. In scripture, I mean, there's so many scriptures, and again, I won't take up the time doing
I
that.
know it, because we can get that. That's another. That's for another day.
Yeah, because I'm a big believer in putting some scripture on it, as I call it. You know, I put scripture on it because scripture is what I believe. It's what I hold true.
Correct.
It's what I know to be true. So I associate things when things are. I put some scripture on it to make it make sense to me. So I'm a big advocate. I mean, you'll hear me a lot of times say it, but the Bible says, or God says, in the Word it says. You may hear me say that a lot of my conversation. There's no offend. It's not to offend anyone that I'm something that I know more than you. It's never that. It's just that's my truth. That's my truth. Because in my darkest hour, in my time when I didn't have and didn't know and didn't have an answer, my truth is what carried me, and that's my truth. So it's not to defend. It's my truth. Right? Your truth is your truth, but my truth is my truth.
Ooh,
right?
That's heavy, because I tell people that all the time. That's my truth. And that's what this is all about, because it doesn't matter what somebody else has projected or their perception of anything. My truth is my dark days. My truth is what I struggle with. I'm not a people person. I'm not a people person. I'm not a morning person, right? Even though I might be up wee hours of the morning.
Right. Yeah.
Man, that's real.
Yeah. I mean, there's a difference between believing and truth, right? Believing and knowing, it's a very thin line between believing and knowing. And I found that when it came a time in my life when I stopped believing and I started to know some things, that's when I found truth. It's when I started to know some things. It wasn't I didn't believe no more. I started to know some things, and that's where my truth came from. And that's kind of where I speak from that place. I speak from that place of what I know.
What I know.
Right? I'm not trying to shadow anybody or be something that I'm not. I'm just speaking from what I know as my truth and my moral compass. I'm speaking from that place because that, at the core of everything that I do outside of StellaKidd and anything else I'm doing, that is at the core of who I am in all of those operations.
Do you feel like that's intimidating?
It can be. Okay. It can be because, I feel like a lot of people hadn't went through what I went through yet. Okay. So it can be intimidating because oftentimes they feel that, that you're this entity of sort that's this big, It's just that I feel like my strength and my presence of the bigness come from my times when I was weak, when God made me strong. Yeah.
You found your voice.
Yeah, so my voice came when it was quiet. Right? So when I start to talk, it comes from a quiet, dark place. Right?
Power.
So it's what was given to me in the time when I wasn't who you thought I was. Right? It was what was given to me in a time when the door was closed and nobody was in the room but me.
And that's the room we're going to debunk. Because people will perceive you and think of you one way.
Yeah.
And that's totally not what they're going to get.
Right. Most people think that I'm arrogant. They think that I'm cocky. I've been called cocky. I've been called arrogant. I've been called, you think you know it all. You think you're somebody special. So rumor has it, that's what people has said about me. I've heard it directly, indirectly.
Wow.
And most people think that I'm, they don't know how to take me because my size is already intimidating on most because I'm a big fellow to start with. And then, of course, when I open my mouth, my voice is so big. Yeah. It adds two factors to it. And, of course, you add the fact that I'm African-American in the most predominantly white city. There's two or three things that's going against me before I even make a move. So I have to be strategic in how I operate and do things because I don't want that to be the perception of me. So the rumor has it that I'm this, and I can be the first to tell you that I'm not. I'm really a big teddy bear. I mean, if you're being honest, like I like to be low key in the background, laid up, comfortable somewhere. I don't like to get into it. I don't like drama, negativity.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'll get involved if I have to, but I don't provoke it, and I don't go looking for it. The Bible tells us not to provoke wrath. Right. So oftentimes I feel like most of the problems we get into because we provoke it. I just like to fall back and stay in my lane. I control what I can control and what I'm responsible for, and all things around it, I let them be as they are.
Well, I am pleased that you came on to debunk that one rumor.
Sure.
I don't know if anybody ever came into contact with Art ever thought that he was arrogant or over the top. I don't know. I mean, he was in a room full of women, and he just didn't even come off like that. And I think there maybe one other guy that came in and be my content.
I think later toward the end. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know, but even when we met after that, just in the community, I just never got that vibe from you. I didn't come off that way. But being like you said, what 6'2"?
Okay,
I'm
I'm 6'2".
6'5".
I'm a little shorter, yeah.
Okay, I gave him 6'5", yeah, because he's taller than me. Yeah. But anyway, I appreciate you clearing the air in that, because a lot of times our men don't understand, and I use this analogy quite often, that you already have 3 strikes against you before you even hit the door.
Yeah,
so if you take it into consideration, you got your 4, because now you have a statute that people are even intimidated by.
Right.
And that's not even the case. So again, perception.
Yeah.
How people perceive us.
Right.
I can attest to that too, being called all that. Well, I may talk proper. Well, what you don't understand is I came from a little rural area, and we may have been one of 10 black families in that entire school district. So all my friends were white.
Right.
When I moved to Longview, I did have I dressed preppy. I probably did talk like a little white girl, because that's what I came from. But I was dropped in the heart of the hood.
Right.
Okay, so I had to kind of get in where I fit in, so I could appeal to both sides, the wannabes and the what you can't you don't what you call them at school days.
Yeah, I mean real talk.
So. I mean, for me, that's how I learned to be a chameleon. But I faced a lot of battles, too. I fought a lot of the times because people thought maybe I was being messy over there with them other folks, or I wasn't being true to myself because I lived in the hood. Yeah, stuff like that. So I can definitely understand where you come from with that, or people still trying to judge you based on maybe how you dress, or because the color of your hair. I don't know. I'm over it, okay?
Yeah. I mean, you
get in here and debunk any type of rumor that you want.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. I mean, if anything, I'm more about pulling things together than I am about tearing things apart. But I share the same sentiment as you. I actually was raised in the projects, right? But if you ever hear me talking or speaking in any context, you'll never know I was raised in West Dallas, Texas, in the projects. Right, with the reps and the roaches.
Now, we went through that little phase where we probably had to act like we was hard and try to keep that persona, but that's just not who I was. That really wasn't who I was.
Yeah. I mean, it's survival.
Yeah.
Right? You know how to be in your neighborhood, to actually have conversation and lingo that keeps you safe in your neighborhood, and you know how to keep yourself safe in other neighborhoods. It's all, like you said the key word is chameleon, right? So if anything, it's people like, oh, you selling out because they don't have a chameleon effect. That has nothing to do with me that you don't have that. I chose to get one.
And that's my truth.
Right? Because I'm in the projects, but I'm looking across downtown trying to figure out what them folks are doing. And how I can live over there where they live at. That was my desire. So I did the things that's required. Everybody wants your life. They want to be in a position where you're successful and have things going. But do you really want the pain and the struggle and the story that I have behind
walk in these shoes.
Right? Walking like I talk it, right? Like I'm living my truth. I'm walking in my truth, and I don't take that to be anything that's a shame to anything from my past. Everything I become in the future, I feel like is because of my past.
And our black men need to hear that. And I think that there should be more inspiration for them to come out and be more community involved. Get involved with the city. Come to the city council meetings. I don't care if he was a murderer. I don't care if he stole dope. I don't care if he was an alcoholic or he still lives now. You don't know what could be a life-changing conversation with somebody you may come into contact with. You don't have to be perfect to fix something. You just got to start. You just got to do it. Just what I did with this. We just here, right? We just doing it, because had I procrastinated and waited a little longer, I might not would have ever done it. So I mean, really, glory all unto the Most High for allowing me to have that.
For sure.
Fire to just keep going and not throw the towel in, because there's been many a days I could have wanted to just throw the towel in. You feel me? So we all go through that. We all have those struggles, and so I again do appreciate you just letting the people know who you are, just being transparent in your mission, and I think it's a great thing that you are doing, and just being compassionate about the disabled. Because Art gave us some really, really great information tonight, guys, as far as even being a point of contact or knowing now where to obtain those those resources
Sure.
if you suffer or you know you have family members that suffer from a silent disability. And it's not physical disability, but your PTSD, your ADHD, things of that nature. We now have an open line of communication where our people or people that we just know can get the assistance that they actually need.
Yeah.
Before we wrap this up, what do you have coming down the pipeline between now and the end of the year or the new year? Anything new that you're going into as far as business is concerned?
I do have another venture that I'm working on.
Okay.
It's basically my business, my for-profit company is called Kid Camp. I'm working on
Okay.
a nonprofit
Got it.
called Kid Camp. So
Okay.
it's basically a spin-off of my for-profit business. And the purpose of Kid Camp, 90% of the kids that I've worked with and young adults that we have worked with in the program, the VR program, have given me one main concern. They've always expressed their concern to me about not having friends.
Oh.
So there was a movie, and for you that's listening, as well as you, Shai, if you haven't got a chance to watch on Netflix,
Okay.
there's a movie called Crip Camp, CRIPCAMP, Crip Camp.
Okay. Crip Camp.
It's
We'll drop that in the chat, y'all.
So drop that in the chat. Make sure we go watch that movie because that's the fight. That movie talks about the fight of where people with disabilities, when they was calling them retards, right? Which is no longer a word, right?
Exactly.
This was the time and period where these individuals got together and wanted to have a voice. Okay. And these little group of special people fought to create what is now the ADA and what is now the vocational rehab. It's the entire story of how we got to those that have this opportunity now. There was a fight to get here. There was a fight back in the 1970s to get here. So it's not something that's taken lightly, and I don't take it lightly because it's a privilege to be able to have it. So I use it to share and make sure that everyone gets in. But Crip Camp will tell the story of what StellaKidd is actually doing today.
Awesome.
That'll basically tell a little bit of how I'm able to do what I'm doing. It's because of the people in Camp Janaid. But Kid Camp is going to be the nonprofit side that's going to give them a sort of a community of individuals that are like and unlike them. So we may have kids that have autism, but there's a kid that has Down syndrome, right? Instead of like a lot of these organizations, they silo these kids. Right. It's autism group or it's Down syndrome group. We're going to be all inclusive. Whatever you have, whatever condition you have, or whether you don't have a condition, you're more than welcome to be a part of Kid Camp and help us continue to further do what Miss Shai is doing, debunk these rumors, and be part of our community and make sure that these individuals in our communities are loved and cared for and that they have an outlet just as well as you and I do. So that's the next mission that we're on. So stay tuned for Kid Camp.
I love it. Thank you so very much for being here, Art. Thank you for enlightening me on some. I learned so many different things just through these different podcasts throughout the day. I've been convicted. I've had to go home. I've had to pray and ask for some forgiveness. I've learned some really, really great things about your program and the different services that you guys offer, especially the points of contact about the silent disabilities that a lot of us just do not talk about. And just to know that you're an ordained minister, that's amazing. So shout out to your homeboy in Corpus Christi. But Crip Camp, guys, go do your research, watch that, become enlightened. You will not. This is not going to be the last time you see Art. Art and I are actually kind of forming something amazing, and he's actually going to be on site August the 9th with us at our Youth Explosion this year at Longview Mall, the Kids Entrepreneur Fair. So again, Longview Mall, August the 9th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Art will be there with his booth giving information and signing up individuals if need be. Again, we're going to have Unlock Potential out with the drone training. He's going to be on site. We will also be doing the hygiene drive with 1757 Oasis.
Shout out to 1757, Mr. D. Shout out to them.
Yes, 1757. So they're going to be on site collecting donations and giving out information too, just as well. Empowerment CDC will be there. We have some great sponsors. So shout out to Community Funeral Home. Shout out Texas Bank and Trust. Shout out Empowerment CDC, just all our wonderful sponsors. So we just thank everyone. Yes, and we thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Stay tuned for next week. We have another phenomenal lineup, some great individuals from our community that is coming on to debunk some rumors and share some information. Rumor has it with Shaw. Y'all have a good night. Love, peace, and hair grease.
Good stuff.
I know. This was amazing.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Good stuff.
So we do.